James Comey and John Brennan now under criminal investigation related to the Trump-Russia probe. Do you want to see these two guys behind bars?
Well, I know nothing about it other than what I read today, but I will tell you, I think they're very dishonest people. I think they're crooked as hell.
President Trump commenting on the Justice Department launching criminal probes into former FBI Director James Comey and former CIA Director John Brennan. The investigation looking into alleged misconduct related to their roles in the Obama-Clinton crossfire hurricane scheme that fueled the Trump-Russia collusion hoax during the 2016 presidential election and beyond. Here to discuss a man caught in the middle of all of this, former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos, also with us, retired FBI Special Agent Bobby Chacon. Welcome to you both. To America Right Now. George, this scheme turned your whole life upside down. Talk to us about why these probes of Brennan and Comey are so important years later.
Thank you very much for having me. I think the main reason that these probes are so critically important is because one of the greatest achievements of President Trump hasn't simply been to build the wall or to revamp the economy or to prevent World War III, but it was really to expose the rotten corruption that pervaded his predecessor's attempt to create a smooth transition of power. This is all about the smooth transition of power, Tom. If a president weaponizes the DOJ against a rival, whether it's a candidate or an official president, we officially become a banana republic. That's exactly what happened in 2016, going into Trump's actual administration from Obama, Brennan, and Comey. That's why these investigations are important. It's about rewriting history with facts and assuring what happened in 2016 never happens again, Tom.
Bobby, let's listen to sort of the disturbing ways that Brennan and Comey have described President Trump to some of the left-wing media outlets. Listen to this.
Donald Trump really does admire those individuals who have many of the same characteristics that he has: unethical, unprincipled, and willing to make deals that benefit themselves, but not necessarily their country.
I think he poses a near existential threat to the rule of law. He will do everything he can in a new term to try to tear down the institutions that he sees as threats.
Bobby, do you think those comments will play into what could ultimately be a prosecution of these men and show a clear motive or intent to discredit and delegitimize Trump?
Well, I certainly do, Tom. I think that they show the lack of objectivity, which is the hallmark of any legitimate criminal investigation or intelligence report. You have to maintain objectivity into your subject so that you can look at the facts, look at the intelligence, and come up with a conclusion based on that, and not your own personal biases and personal hatred in this case. And these gentlemen have, after the fact, totally demonstrated their lack of objectivity, their hatred for the subject that way they were looking into. And I think that's a totally biased thing. And for the two leaders of the most powerful intelligence agency and law enforcement agency in the country, I mean, this is tantamount to a coup.
George, Brennan seems to be baffled by all of this. Watch this.
I testified in front of many, many congressional committees in the House and the Senate over the years, and I continue to explain exactly what we did during this process, why we tried to make sure we stayed true to our intelligence responsibilities, and that we were not going to do anything at all to try to interfere in that election. Again, I am clueless about what it is exactly that they may be investigating me for.
All right, so he says he's clueless now, but is it remotely credible that he didn't know who paid for the Steele dossier when he was the CIA director?
Of course he knew who paid for the Steele dossier. It was a political hit job that was financed by the Clinton campaign to create dirt around the campaign to then acquire fraudulent FISA warrants. Now, for your audience to understand what a FISA warrant is, it is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. It's basically a surveillance tool that's designated primarily for terrorists or drug traffickers. But the Obama administration, with Brennan, by using the Steele dossier, was able to obtain these warrants to spy on a rival presidential campaign. So, of course, he knew what was involved, who was financing it, And of course, he was directly involved. And I think that's exactly why he's trying to deflect and to demur at this point. It's not going to help him.
Real quick for me, George, and this is so important, particularly for you. What does justice look like here? And do you think it's really possible? Real quick.
I certainly think justice is possible, Tom. I think we have the right people in the right positions at the right time. People like FBI Director Patel, Bongino deputy, and I think AG Bondi is eventually going to do the exact right thing. All I want is the truth to come out. I want to follow the facts where they might lead. No one wants a two-tier justice system in this country. No one wants witch hunts. If they broke the law, let them be held accountable. That's all I want. I think millions of Americans as well.
Bobby, real quick for me at the end here, you talk about sort of the rot within these agencies. I talked to a lot of folks about that with the FBI and the CIA. How deep does this go? Or is it really confined to some of the political appointees at the top?
I think it's confined to FBI headquarters, the 7th floor, where all the executives sit. And I think that you have to prosecute these guys if you can, so that this never happens again. So leaders in those positions never feel that they're above the law or they're above the president, and can try to orchestrate a coup like these two tried to do.
All right, George Papadopoulos, Bobby Chacon, we're going to be following this very closely as this investigation advances. Thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you.